Hi everybody, my name is Moochie and I'm going to be your Cycle Express instructor. Before we get started in our cycling workout, we're going to want to make sure our bike is fitted properly. For a Schwinn bike, if you have any other bikes, we're going to check the same checkpoints and make sure you know how to adjust it. But we're going to start with our hip checkpoint to the seat, so we're going to bring our leg up to a 90-degree angle, thigh parallel to the floor, and we're going to make sure that our hip bone and our seat are level with each other. So for a Schwinn bike, you're going to find that knob on the back. You're going to unscrew it, pull it out, and move your seat up or down depending on whatever is most comfortable. And screw that in. Going into a little bit more fine-tuning, you can move your seat forwards or backwards, and that's going to be with this knob. So moving it backwards is going to bring you further, and moving it forwards is going to bring you closer. And wherever you feel most comfortable, once you find it, screw it right back in. Same thing with the handlebars. That screw is going to be right here. Moving it forward is going to bring the handlebars away from you, and moving it closer is going to bring the handlebars closer to you, but screwing it in where you find most comfortable. We're going to go ahead and hop on our bike, get our feet in the cages. When we start pedaling, we want our stride to be almost full extension with a little bit of a bend in our knee, but our hip is going to come to a full extension. Making sure that when we lean forward, we have a slight bend in our elbows, and we're going to keep that engaged core. And then we're going to go ahead and press down. And that is how you make sure your bike is properly fitted to you. Welcome everybody, my name is Moochie. This is going to be Cycle Express 1. It's going to be a 30-minute quick cycling class to get our heart rates going, our bodies active, and us feeling really great. You can go ahead and locate, if you're on a Schwinn bike, that center knob. This is going to be our resistance knob, so turning it to the left is going to take off resistance, turning it to the right is going to add resistance, and then pressing down on it is going to bring our flywheel to an emergency stop. If you're on a different bike, make sure you know how to do all those same controls for our own safety. If you have a center console to turn on, you can go ahead and do so just to monitor your progress in this class. You can keep an eye on your RPMs on most of them. And some of them you can monitor your power. Your power is how much force you're exerting on the powers, and your RPM is how fast you're pedaling. So go ahead and turn that on. You can go ahead and sit up nice and tall for me. Do a couple shoulder rolls back. We're going to hinge forward at our hips and find a light grip on the handlebars with a slight bend in our elbows. This is going to be our proper riding posture. Focusing on keeping that flat back, open chest, and engaged core. When we pedal, we're going to want to pedal through the center of our foot. That's where we're going to get the majority of our power. So go ahead and add enough resistance to where you feel like your flywheel is beginning to make contact with the road. On a scale of 1 to 10, we want to be kind of at a 5, 1 being there's no resistance at all, and 10 being there's way too much resistance. We want to be right in that medium, to where we feel like we can be doing this for a while, but we're putting in a little bit of work. Good. Today our class is going to be 2 stages with 1 recovery in between. Stage 1 is going to consist of 2 songs. We're going to have a nice 3-minute recovery, and then stage 2 is going to consist of 3 songs. Stage 2 is a little bit harder than stage 1, so keep that in mind as we're going through stage 1 to not push our bodies way too hard. And then we're going to have a nice cool down, some easy stretches, and you'll be on your merry way. We've got about 1 minute left in our warm-up, so go ahead and add a little bit more resistance on your flywheel just to get our legs waking up and ready. We're going to kick off stage 1 with a seated flat. So by the time we get to that song, we're going to want enough resistance to where we feel like we're putting in a good amount of work, maybe a 6 or a 6.5 on that scale of 1 to 10. A little bit above our warm-up, but again, not too much, because we're going to go right from a seated flat into a standing climb, which is a challenging drill, so keep that in mind as we go through. But again, slowly creeping up that resistance. And once we get into that seated flat, we're going to incorporate another drill if you would like to see how far we can get in 3 minutes, but I'll cue that when it is up. For now, we got about 30 seconds to ride it out at this pace, and then we'll get right into stage 1. Good, about 15 seconds left. Kick that resistance up a little bit more. And we should be nearing where we want to be for our seated flat. Good, this song we're going to go into is called War Paint. It's about 3 minutes and 48 seconds. We're just going to be cycling at this base resistance the entire time. Your option to add resistance if you would like is there. An option to take off resistance is also there if you'd like. Remembering that stage 2 is a little bit more challenging, so keeping that in mind. We're going to cycle like this for about 30 more seconds, and then you're going to have an option to add in a drill in there. If you have a stage button on your console, when I cue you, you can press that, and you'll start to see how much mileage you can get in 3 minutes. And that'll come in about 15 seconds. It's going to be in the bottom left corner of your console. Good. We're going to go ahead and press that button in about 5, 4, 3, 2. If it's there, go ahead and press it. And you're going to challenge yourself to see how far you can get in 3 minutes. If you want the distance, add the resistance. So the further you want to get, the more resistance you're going to need on your flywheel. Good. Remembering to pedal through the center of our foot. Good. The more resistance we have, the more tired our quads are going to get. So we can focus on pulling our heels to our glutes to engage our hamstrings a little bit and take a little bit of stress off those quads. Good. We're about half a minute into it. About 2.5 minutes left for this 3-minute drill. If you're not participating in the 3-minute drill, you can go ahead and add resistance if you want. Again, this is your class. I just teach it. I encourage you to listen to your bodies rather than listening to me. Good. If you're doing that drill, we're about 1 minute in. Go ahead and try and set a goal right now. But if you can't set one, I'll cue you when we're halfway through, and I encourage you to double the mileage you already have. Good. Keep pushing through. And we are halfway through that 1.5-minute drill. So if you don't have a goal for your mileage, go ahead and double what you have and see if you can hit that goal in this last 1.5 minutes. Good. Dig deep right here. Starting off this class strong. We've got 1 minute left in this drill. Good. Keep pushing. If you're nearing that goal, keep striding to it. Almost there. 45 seconds left. Good. 30 seconds left to hit that goal. If you've already hit it, see how far you can get past it. Good. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax. Take some of that resistance off. Go ahead and take some time to get some water if you need it. Our next song is going to be called Change. It's going to be a standing climb. So whenever you're ready, come and join me up out of the saddle. When we come up out of the saddle, it's important that we give that knob a full turn to the right to combat the rest of our weight on the pedals. Keeping our weight above the pedals. And if our hips are feeling super uncontrolled, super bouncy, we're going to want to keep that resistance up a little bit higher. Good. So in a standing climb, we're going to simulate what it feels like to climb a mountain if we were biking. So I'm going to give you times where you can add resistance. And we're going to look for that lyrical cue of the word change for the first 2 choruses. This song is pretty intense, so please keep in mind, if you feel like you can't add more resistance, then don't push yourself to. First hair turn is right here. Good, second hair turn here. Keep pushing through, one more hair turn. Good, and ride it out until we get to that next chorus. Again, we're simulating what it feels like to climb a mountain. So the closer you get to the top, the more resistance you're gonna have on your wheel. Good, focusing on pedaling through the center of our foot, not pointing our toes down or our toes up. Good. Keep pushing through. 2 minutes left in this song, and then we get a full recovery. Option right here. Good. Keep pushing through. It should be getting really, really heavy. Hair, turn right there. All right, last set. Hair turn. Good. Hair turn. Everything after this is completely up to you. Hair turn, if you feel like you can do it, go ahead. If you feel like you've tapped out, don't push yourself too hard. Good. And we're going to ride it out like this for 1.5 minutes and go right into our recovery. Digging deep right here. Almost there. Keep pushing. Good. Remembering there is no change without challenge. So keep pushing through. We've got about 45 seconds left. Good. 30 seconds. Keep digging deep. Remember, we have a full recovery song after this. Good. You'll notice the music is going to start to fade, but we're going to stay strong. Only 15 seconds left. 10. Keep pushing. We are almost there. Almost. 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. Good. Take that resistance off. We are in our first recovery. Taking this time to get some water and catch our breaths. Whew. This workout is kicking my butt. I hope it's kicking yours. Good. This recovery is about 3 minutes long. So taking advantage of this time to catch our breaths. Maybe give ourselves an air high five, a pat on the back. If you're doing this class with a friend, hopefully you're 6 feet apart, you can give them an air high five. If you're at home and you have the luxury of having a bike at home, maybe if you have a 4-legged friend, you can give them a nice pat on the head. But again, using this time to pedal with not too much resistance and not too much RPM, but just catch our breath and get ready to close it out with stage 2. Again, stage 2 is going to be a little bit more difficult. We're going to start with sprints, go into our jump drill, and then end with that seated climb, which is kind of what we just did, but instead of standing, we're going to be seated. And then we'll do a couple stretches, and you guys will be home free. We got about 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Again, this entire time during this class, though I'm telling you what to do, it's very important that you listen to your body. So if I'm telling you to push, when you feel like you can't, honor yourself rather than honor me. Just do what you feel most comfortable with and what gets you the most work. Good, we got about 1 minute left in our recovery. So go ahead and start to get your mindset ready for stage 2 and creep that resistance up a little bit just to get our bodies back in gear and ready. We're going to kick it off with sprints from the song Roar. And these sprints are pretty intense. They're pretty long. They're about 40 seconds. But that first one is only about 30 seconds. So take advantage of that shorter sprint. But keep in mind for the next 2 sprints that they're going to be a little bit lengthier. And after sprints, we're going to go into a jump drill, which I'll explain when we get more into that song, but it's important for that song to listen to my cueing so you don't get off beat or potentially in an unsafe position. Good, we got about 10 seconds left, and then we're going to go right into sprints. We have 48 seconds until our first sprint, so we can still kind of take advantage of that time if we're not fully recovered from that recovery song. But I will cue us when our first sprint is a go. When we start our sprints, it's important to increase our resistance a little bit for stability in the saddle. So if you start your sprint and your hips are feeling super, super unstable, add a little bit more resistance. And we're going to try and get our RPMs anywhere between 85 and 105. But if you're above 105, I encourage that you add a little bit more resistance. Our first sprint is coming in about 15 seconds. So start getting ready, maybe creep up our resistance slowly. Good, and we are on in 3, 2, 1. First sprint. Good, we can pretend that we're in a bike race, trying to get to first place. There are 2 people in front of us, and right in this sprint, we're going to focus on passing just one of those people. Good, 20 seconds left. RPMs anywhere between 85 and 105. Adding resistance if we feel super unstable. Good, almost there, about 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Take some of that resistance off. Take some time to catch your breath. Remembering that these next 2 sprints are 40 seconds, so a little bit longer. Good, 20 seconds, and then we go into our next sprint. And when we go into this sprint, we're going to try and pass that last person in front of us. We are on in 3, 2, 1. Good, remembering that this sprint is a little bit longer. And if our hips are not stable in the saddle, increase that resistance. Good, remember we're trying to pass that person in first place so we can be in first place and win, because there's nothing more everybody loves than winning. Good, 20 seconds left. Digging deep, pushing through. We should feel that burn in our quads. We can focus on pulling our heel to our glute to help us finish out this sprint. And remember, there's only one more after this. Good, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and take that resistance off. We don't have much time before our next sprint, so keep that in mind. It's coming in about 10 seconds. Remembering that this one is also 40 seconds. During this sprint, we're going to be in first place, but we want to finish strong. On in 3, 2, 1, our last sprint. Good, we are almost at that finish line. Pushing through 40 seconds. Can you get first place? Good, keep pushing. That person behind you is super, super close. Don't let them pass you. Good, keep pushing, 20 more seconds. Keep working hard. Almost there. 10 seconds left in this sprint song, and then we are done with sprints. Good, 3, 2, 1, and take that resistance off. Congratulations, you just won first place. Going into our second work song in stage 2, it's going to be our jump drill. And this song is a medley between Young, Dumb, and Broke and Thunder. So during Young, Dumb, and Broke, we're going to be seated. During Thunder, we're going to be standing. And in that last minute and a half where they're kind of playing together, We're going to do jumps, which jumps look like 4 counts down, 4 counts up. So it's going to be up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you're listening to cues because it's important, or you're going to get off a little bit, and it might be a little uncomfortable with the music if you're off and the music's off. But right now we're seated, and we're going to be standing in 3, 2, 1. Give that resistance a turn, and we're standing for thunder. Remembering to keep our weight above the pedals. Good. And we're going to be up for about a minute. Digging deep. We only have one more drill after this one. Good. Keeping that flat back, open chest, engaged core as we're pedaling. Digging deep, remembering that we only have this song and one song left. So it's getting to that point where it's okay to drain your tanks. Good, and we are seated back down in 3, 2, 1. Good, come back down. But don't get too comfortable because we're going to be up very shortly. Coming back up in 3, 2, 1, up. Good. Making sure we have that enough resistance. But don't get too comfortable because we are down in 3, 2, 1. Good. Good. Keep pushing through, and we are standing in 3, 2, 1. Good. And we are going to be up for about 30 more seconds. But when we start cueing again, that's when we're going to go into our jumps. So make sure you are paying attention to my cueing this time. Good. Also make sure we have enough resistance on our flywheel to where we're stable when we're standing for our own safety. Good. And we are down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, down. Good. Keep pushing through. And up. Good. Down. And up. Good. You can count with me. Down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. Good. Up. And down. Keep pushing through. Up. We're almost done with this drill. Down. A couple more times. Up. Down. Keep pushing through. We are so, so close. Up. And down. Good. Up. 2, 3, 4, and down. Relax. Good. You can take some of that resistance off. We have about 10 seconds. And then we're going into our last work song, which is a seated climb, which is the same thing we did at the end of stage 1, where we're simulating what it feels like to climb a mountain. So I'll be giving you options to cue your resistance. Again, this is the very last work song, so if you're feeling super tired, like you already put in a lot of work, we're honoring our bodies, so you don't have to take all of the resistance options. This is your class, I just teach it. But we've got about 30 more seconds before our first option comes, so taking advantage of this time, maybe get some water if you need it. Just catching our breath. Good. Only 3 minutes stands in between you and the cool down. So whatever you've got left, go ahead and give it to me. While we do this drill, we can pretend there's something at the top of the mountain that we really, really want. And we're going to go ahead and start our climb with a quarter turn right here. Good. Maybe it's a big bag of money. Maybe it's an A in the class we're about to start, but we got a hair turn right here. Good. Digging deep and doing whatever it takes to get to whatever is at the top of that mountain. Maybe it's your dog, maybe it's your cat, maybe it's your kid. But really digging deep. We have 4 more turns spread throughout the rest of the song. A little under 2.5 minutes left. You've made it through this entire class. You've only got 2 minutes left. As we get tired, we want to make sure our form is correct. So keeping that engaged core, that flat back and open chest, pedaling through the center of our foot. Getting ready for that second round of 2 quarter turns to get to the top of that mountain. Option 1 is going to be right here. Good. Option 2 is coming in 3, 2, 1, right there. Good. Again, we're honoring our body, so if we feel like we're at our top work right now, then don't push past that. But if we feel like we can, we only have 2 quarter turns left with 1 minute and 20 seconds. Really focusing on what these lyrics are saying, do whatever it takes to become legendary. Good. As it gets heavier, focus on pointing that heel to your glute again to take some stress off your quads. Our last option for quarter turns are coming in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, a quarter turn right here. And we only have 1 more after this. If you can do it, I encourage you to, but if you can't, don't push past what you're already doing. Good, last one, right here. And ride it out for 30 more seconds. Maybe we need to close our eyes and really envision what's at the top of that mountain and do whatever we need to get to the top of it. Good, keep pushing. Empty your tank right here. We got 15 more seconds left. Not much stands in between you and the end of this class. Good, keep pushing, almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good. Take that resistance off. We are now in the cool down. Just taking time to catch our breaths, bring our heart rate down, and get some water. There should be little to no resistance on our flywheel right now. And this song, everybody should know it. It's The Climb, so if you're at home, go ahead and karaoke it. Even if you're in the middle of the SRAC, karaoke it. I encourage it. Because I might be working, so I might hear you. But good, also take some time to get some water. Give yourselves a pat on the back, a self high five or a social distance high five. And we're going to go ahead and start with our arm stretches. So bring our arm across our body almost as if there's a magnetic repel between our ear and our shoulder. Good. And we're going to hold that. Go ahead and release. Bring our other arm across the body. Same thing as if there's a magnetic repel between our shoulder and our ear. Good. It's really important to stretch after every workout. I know a lot of people skip it, but I promise if you don't, you'll probably thank us all later. And release. Thread our fingers behind our back, open our chest up. Good. We're opening up our chest. And release. Pressing down on that emergency stop. We're going to bring our flywheel to a stop and come off the bike for our off-bike stretches. We're going to find the nice incline on the back of our bike. prop our heel on it and lean forward into it. Good. The more you lean into the stretch, the deeper it's going to get. And if you want to get a little bit deeper in the calf, you can bend the knee and push in at the hips. Good. Hold it. And release. Same thing with that other calf. Finding that nice incline at the back of our bike. Leaning forward. And release. We're going to go into our quad stretch. So we're going to grab our ankle, point our knee directly at the ground, and focusing on keeping our hips underneath us. Good. Release. Same thing on that other leg. Knee pointed to the ground, hips right underneath us. We can hold on to the bike for stability. Just hold that. And we're going to go into our final stretch, which is our hamstring stretch. We're going to prop our heel on that nice mid of the bike and hinge forward at our hips to get that nice back of the leg. Good. Release. Same thing on that other leg. Thank you guys so much for joining. My name is Moochie. Again, this was Cycle Express 1. I hope you guys enjoyed it and worked really hard, and I hope to see you next time.